Parneet Jaggi, and today we're going to be looking at a very popular poem by John Donne, The Sun Rising, which is a kind of a revolutionary as well as interesting poem because it presents love in an altogether different tone by John Donne. Now we know John Donne as a great metaphysical English poet, and this poem was published in 1633. It actually talks about two lovers who feel disturbed by the rays of the rising sun. Now, it is one of the most successful love poems of John Donne because it has an altogether different tinge to it. And as a poet of love, we can see him as an extreme realist. He also deals with the physical side of love in this poem. And here he treats of a situation which is very significant for people in love, but unusual in expression in poetry, because people don't generally talk about such forces of nature as disturbing forces for lovers. So let's have a look at the poem, The Sun Rising. Busy old fool, unruly sun, why dost thou thus through windows and through curtains call on us? Now see, the beginning of the poem itself is rhetorical, as if he is scolding the sun, as if sun is something which is actually listening to the poet and it is going to fear the poet. So, but actually here in this poem, Donne is trying to say that love is a state of mind and therefore it cannot be governed by the movements of time and even nature. So in other words, he says lovers are not expected to regulate their lovemaking according to time or movements of the solar system. So it has a pervading antithesis of all and nothing throughout the poem. So busy old fool, unruly sun, why dost thou thus through windows and through curtains call on us? So it is like he is rebuking, he is scolding the sun, that why are you disturbing us through the curtains and through windows? Must to thy motions lovers' season run? Is it mandatory that we lovers should run our seasons according to your motion? So here what he is doing is, he is asserting the supremacy of love, that love is above all. Saucy pedantic wretch, go chide late schoolboys and sour apprentices, go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride, call country ants to harvest offices. So he says, you sun, it's better, don't disturb us. You vain wretch, you have no business with us lovers. It's better you go and rebuke the schoolboys, the children who are getting late for school. Go and scold them, go and disturb them. And the apprentices, the people who are employed, who have to work under somebody else, they have to reach their offices, go and wake them up. And go tell court huntsmen, go to the courtier, the hunters who are employed by the king, and tell them that the king would ride for hunting now, so that they reach the king's court in time. And tell the country ants. Now the country ants are the farmers, the peasants who live in the countryside and who have to go to their fields to work. Go and tell them to collect their harvests. Their offices means to collect their grains, their crops in the fields. So what he's trying to say is that the sun should not disturb him and his beloved, but should go to other offices, other people who need to be disturbed at this hour of the morning. Love all alike, no season knows, nor clime, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. So love versus timelessness. According to him, love does not fall into the fractions of time. Love does not regulate itself according to the movements of time. So he says, love all alike. Now these are the actual thematic lines of the poem. Love is all alike. It doesn't know any season or climate, nor hour, nor days, nor months, which are actually the subdivisions of time. Thy beams, so reverend and strong, why shouldn't thou think I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink? Thy means you, sun. He's talking to the sun. Your beams, your rays are so reverent. They demand so much respect from the world, and they are strong. Why should you think so? Why do you think you are so uh, honored and so strong and so worthy of respect? I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink, but that I would not lose her sight so long. He says, don't think you're very strong or very powerful or something very great. I could eclipse. I could actually overshadow the brilliance of your beams just by the wink of an eye, just by the blinking of my eye. But I would not do it. Why? Because I would be wasting my time. I would not lose the sight of my beloved for even such a long time as to do something to you. But that I would not lose her sight so long. If her eyes have not blinded thine, look and tomorrow late tell me. Now this is again the use of a hyperbole. If her eyes, if the sparkle, the brightness of her eyes have not blinded your eyes, then look and tomorrow late tell me. He says, I'm sure the dazzle of my beloved's eyes must have actually blinded you. Whether both the Indias of spice and mine be where thou leftest them or lie here with me. Now here again we have a wonderful use of a simile, or we can call it a metaphysical conceit. He is comparing now, he is actually trying to get the whole world there in his room. He says, go and check whether both the Indies, East and West Indies, which are actually popular for their spices and mines, are there in their own places where you left them. Ask for those kings whom thou sawest yesterday, and thou shalt hear, all here in one bed lay. So if you want to see tomorrow all the kings whom you saw, you would find them here in our room lying in our bed. That means we lovers represent all the kings of the world. We are the world. She is as all states and all princes I, nothing else is. Again, a beautiful metaphorical comparison, a metaphysical conceit. She means my beloved, my sweetheart. She is all the states of the world. She is all the regions of the world collected here into this room, and I am all the princes. Now, this means that we represent the entire royalty, entire beauty, entire majesty of the world. Nothing else is. Princes do but play us, compared to this all honors mimic, all wealth alchemy. Princes means all the majestic royal people of the world only imitate us. Play us means they imitate us. And compared to our state, our honor, nothing is there in the world but is alchemy. All wealth is alchemy, means it is not real, it is not pure. Thou, sun, art half as happy as we, in that the world's contracted thus. You, O sun, who thinks that you are very happy, you are not. We lovers are happier than you, because the whole world, the beauty of the world, the royalty, the majesty, the bounties of the world are contracted here in our bedroom with us. Thine age asks ease, and since thy duties be to warm the world, that's done in warming us, shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. This bed thy center is, these walls thy sphere. So he says, thine age, your age. Your age is actually asking for rest, for relaxation. This means that you are an old person now. So the poet here is calling the sun old. You need rest because your duties are to warm the world. You can do that duty just in warming us. Now see, initially he started the poem by rebuking the sun. Why are you disturbing us? But now he says, you're not as great as you think yourselves to be, but you can always cover the whole world by just warming us here. Shine here to us and you are everywhere. So we represent the whole world, and by shining over to us, you are shining over the world. This bed is actually the center and these walls are the sphere. Sphere means the orbit. So this bed would be the center and the walls should be the sphere on which you move, you revolve around, and you cover the whole world. So this is a kind of a metaphoric, symbolic expression how he says that the supremacy of love transcends both time as well as space. He says, no seasons, no climes do we recognize. We are beyond time, we are beyond any place. In fact, he says, we represent any place, any location in the world. Now, we clearly see the themes of the poem are authority of love, nature, and God's creation. And throughout the poem, the poet develops the idea that his love is majestic, it is grand, it is powerful, so much so that even the universe exists within this pure relationship. And he considers himself as the ruler of the universe. And in doing so, he beautifully portrays the entire world into his small area of that bedroom. He even challenges the authority of the sun by claiming that it cannot exercise its power in the lover's domain. To him, it should go away and disturb others. Now, it's a beautiful poem in terms of not only the themes but also the stylistic devices used throughout. We have instances of assonance where we have the repetition of vowel sounds. For example, we have this O sound repeated in this line, love all alike, no season knows nor clime. We have alliteration, which is the repetition of consonant sounds. Then we have enjambment, in which we see that the line does not end at the line break at the end of the line, but it continues to the next line, and the thought continues in several lines. For example, whether both the Indias of spice and mine be where thou liftest them. Now, there is no comma or full stop after spice and mine. So the flow goes on to the next line, and this is called enjambment. Then we have numerous examples of imagery. For example, the poem itself starts with busy, old, fool, unruly sun. Sun is personified as an old fool. And then, of course, it ends with the last line, this bed thy center, these walls thy sphere. So it is full of imagery. We have personification, the sun is personified. We have symbols to signify ideas and qualities. Sun symbolizes powerlessness in this case. Otherwise, we see sun as a symbol of power and light. But in this case, love becomes all-powerful. So this was a brief analysis of the poem Sun Rising. I hope you liked it because I find it very interesting and very different than the traditional love poetry of English. So stay tuned for the next videos. Thank you for now.